On behalf of the RSU and all of the organizing parties involved, we want to thank you for coming out. The National Defense Authorization Act and the Enemy Expatriation Act are nothing new to activists here and around the world. Think of the combination laws in Europe that prohibited unions and striking in the mid-19th century, the Anarchist Exclusion Act of 1903 that prohibited anarchists and those with mental disabilities from entering the United States, the McCarthyism of the 40s and 50s that pursued witch hunts against leftists and radicals of all types. Think again of the selective weapons legislation in the 1960s that tried to take weapons from the poor. The COINTELPRO legislation that targeted communists, socialists, the American Indian movement, and the Black Panther Party of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Recall the numerous union-busting laws that passed generally or globally in the 80s and again in the late 90s. And then the most recent examples, recall the U.S. Patriot Act and Arizona's HB 1070. It is no secret that our country and global capitalism in general has long since persecuted national liberation struggles and minorities because they fear the power of those their system must oppress. Their nightmare is the unification of these oppressed groups. The laws we stand against today are not exceptional in their hatred of their own people or the oppressed world over. No, that is not why these are exceptional laws. These are exceptional in their recognition that people across the world and across the United States have begun to unite. The tradition of oppressed minorities that founded this capitalist imperialist system has begun to shift to an oppression of those who speak out against the injustices of our country and imperialism in general. We recognize this fact, and we will not sit idly by. The Revolutionary Student Union stands in solidarity with Occupy Provo, with the Occupy movement in general, and all of those, the world over, defending the rights of those global capitalism seeks to dominate and oppress. The people of the world have begun to awaken, and we will continue to do so.
Yeah.
We, as the citizens of the world, demand, as the Black Panther Party demanded in their 10-point program almost 40 years ago, land, bread, housing, education, justice, and peace. The system of global imperialism knows that it cannot fulfill these demands, and it seeks to silence us by these pieces of violent and oppressive legislation. We hold this rally today to prove to those who will pass these laws that we will not be silenced and we will not sit idly by. Thank you.
Yeah.